Whoa. Hi. Hello. How is everybody? How are you, Eclipse? I am Green Lucifer from Sapphic World. It's true. Listen, I had an idea and I thought it was really funny, and I'm like, Eclipse, we have to. So, there are three things you should know about the Lilith Lilac. Firstly, I'm the Lilith Lilac. Very important. Secondly, I make really provocative blue. Yeah, that. Uh, uh, tabletop RPGs. Uh, that are also really Jewish. Um, and the third thing is, I'm a green goat. Yeah, it is beautiful. Smiles. So, I think I'm the first one on the show who hasn't released like an actual game, technically. Um, so I have a few projects, right? The main thing I've been working on is a game called Euphoria 2180, where you play as funky little queers, um, and you sabotage mega corporations that own the planet and protect little like queer enclaves you have. You're gonna be running it soon. Why did I say that like a threat? Yeah, it's very bare bones at the moment. Yeah, yes. Thank you, thank you. Um, so yeah, my itch. God, I have to let me open it. Yeah, you have a secret browser. Listen, the cud color palette is a beautiful machination. Um, so so yeah, this is my little itch page. I have a few little tokens that I made forever ago at this point. And I also have a fake game called Foxtrot. Yeah, like it doesn't really work. More so, it was a little thing I made like 3, 4 years ago at this point. I mean, it's just like a Google document.
Hey, oh my god, I was not audible. Hi everyone.
You're not. Oh
Oh no,
no.
okay, I'm audible now. Let's roll back a little bit. It's October 30th, 2023.
Yes.
It's 7:05 p.m. You're listening to the fifth episode, or listening and watching the fifth episode of the DOVECOTE. I had my microphone set to my headset, my VR headset. So, uh,
Really funny.
yeah, imagine the questions that I was asking Lilith. Like, fill in the blanks on what questions I asked Lilith that got those answers out, I guess. Um, God bless.
God bless.
Bless us all. I asked about Lilith's games. I asked about what else did I asked stuff that Lilith was working on. I've play tested Euphoria a lot. I'm gonna be running a game of it at some point.
I'm so excited.
Well, you and I are very similar in that we've both like done a lot of design work. We just haven't published it.
Yeah.
It's so dangerous. It's such a dangerous thing to do.
It's fine. I'll survive. We'll survive.
We're gonna finish our games. I'm gonna finish Fourth Empire and I'm gonna put it out and everyone's gonna love it. Or whatever I'm
Good.
calling it. I might not call it Fourth Empire. I don't know. We'll see.
Fifth Empire.
Fifth Empire, Sixth Empire.
420 Empire.
I've considered just calling it Mutate the Stars.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, Lilith, very cool designer, who much like me is like knee deep in some really big, cool projects.
Yeah.
So, let's kind of talk about some of your favorite stuff. Let's.
Oh, my favorite stuff.
Tell me. Actually, I'd love to hear like what is your experience playing TTRPGs? What are some of your faves?
So, I honestly I do not have as much TTRPG like a diverse knowledge of TTRPGs.
Mm-hmm.
So like most people my age, I think that's not true, but played a bunch of D&D in high school, which, you know, it's D&D. I don't think I need to say much more about it.
Big same.
Yeah, it's very specifically also 5th edition D&D from like 8 to 5 years ago. So yeah, remember that. Then I remember one year my dad bought me the Pathfinder core rule books for Pathfinder 1. And well, now I like really crunchy games. So yeah. I think it's more apt to say that a lot of the ideas I get for my TTRPGs are more from video games than anything else.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm definitely similar.
So like, I really enjoy both conceptually and in practice games that are built up from system interactions.
Right.
So things like oh shit.
Sorry, I forgot to do that. It's in Truro. The bird is the interview bird is here in Truro. The interview can officially start.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, so like Dwarf Fortress, Minecraft, and Caves of Cud, I would probably say are like the biggest conceptual inspirations, because all of those games are very focused on interacting with systems and how systems interact with each other.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the energy, that's kind of like the thought process I've been going with when making like Euphoria, for example. Which has kept me very on track of like what that game needs.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
What are like just for the audience, because like I know this stuff obviously. What are some systems that kind of interact in Euphoria that you think people would be interested in?
So, yeah, so the biggest thing in Euphoria by far is the augment system. So, Euphoria, um, I started making Euphoria specifically because there was this 5e hack I've been playing called Gene Funk 2090.
Huh.
Um, Now, it's not, there are interesting ideas in it. I wouldn't necessarily say it's good, but that's more because it's based in 5e as opposed to like a game.
Yeah.
Um, but there's a lot of interesting ideas within it. Um, and I thought to myself, it would be really cool to like try and actualize the ideas and concepts that are within this game.
Yeah.
Um, and so, um, this is a very like biopunk game, so imagine cyberpunk but with weird biological technology.
Yeah, and it's less urban. It's more you're like in an open,
Yeah,
environment. And you're kind of
yeah, less,
exploring,
yeah, yeah.
going to
Um,
factories, doing jobs, going to
Doing jobs in
communes,
factories,
meeting girls.
meeting girls, talking to so many women.
Hey, Duck.
God. Hello, Duck.
Yeah. Uh,
Um,
neat.
so, okay. So, augments interact with most things in the game
Mhm.
to some degree. So, like, obviously, augments are going to interact with the combat of the game. Um, as it should. Uh, the other big part of my background is wargaming. I forgot to mention. Um, and we're so like I'm a big enjoyer of like very technical combat games, right?
Yeah.
Um, so and I think that shows very much in Euphoria's combat.
You love to go to war. You love to kill someone with a gun.
Yeah,
That's you.
exactly.
You
I
love
like
violence.
violence.
You like it
Listen,
when
it's
girls
okay.
have powers.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a number of, augments that are like, oh, you get X ability or Y ability. Um, there are a bunch of augments that give you weapons. Um, and that ties into the weapon system of the game, where it's like, oh, you have this item, and this item has traits and such.
Yeah. I have a really
I think,
nasty example of mechanical interaction in Euphoria.
yes, give
It's the cheese. It's my cheese.
your
Um,
cheese.
so my character
Yes.
atmosphere stint in a playtest that Lilith is running had the idea of gathering a bunch of cheese cases, like little cases that you use to like ferment cheese, and getting the milk tank augment, which allows her to produce uh milk uh uh a number of times every down, like as a downtime activity, equal to her vigor score, or like her vigor score over 10. Uh,
Her modifier, yeah.
yeah, her modifier. So she has 6 cheese cases. The other thing with the milk is that it takes on her blood traits. So currently her blood heals and gives people stamina, uh, like a stamina boost in combat. Um,
Yeah.
Back in my day, we used to call those udders. So true. But yeah, now she's just like preparing this cheese and selling it when we get back to town, and it's a very funny way of making money in the game.
Yeah. Um, Another example would be psychic powers.
Hmm.
Um, and the number of augmentations that interact with psychic powers. So in Euphoria, you have psychics, who are like wizards who use. So this is where the Judaism comes in.
Right.
So psychics are wizards who use the tether between their mortal body and their soul to do magic.
We will not be talking about milkers. I'm sorry.
Um, and so there are a number of specifically bits of cyberware called plugs that modify your casting of psychic powers.
Yeah.
Um, and I think those are pretty fun.
Yeah. They're fun.
Yeah, and another big thing I enjoy in games is traveling. So Euphoria has traveling
It's
mechanics.
got a lot of them. There's a lot of travel happening in Euphoria. It's very
There's
fun.
so much travel. It's the travel. You're the traveling travelers.
You're the tricky traveler,
Oh fuck!
the trudging traveler. Um,
I just
yeah.
heard modify your ass. I mean, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is a mutation, I believe.
Yeah,
Where you get an ass. It's
you
it's
get
both a
an ass.
natural weapon and it has an ability, I believe, where you
Yeah,
give everyone around you a buff by slapping it.
yeah. A wonderful
Uh,
game.
it's awesome. But yeah, very cool. Um,
Yes.
and then yeah, any other games that you're excited about or like really enjoying recently?
Yeah. So obviously I've been enjoying Sapphic World. Um, what a wonderful game. Uh, it's very
Smiles.
important that everyone knows that in the last playtest, ran by a friend.
Crowley. Who will be
Yeah,
actually Crowley is gonna be playing Lunacid with me tomorrow. I haven't announced that yet, but we're gonna do
holy
a Lunacid
shit.
race tomorrow with me and the frog.
Nice. Yeah, so the frog was running a game, and my character and another player character became the most gay married
It's
characters.
very good.
Um, you see, the key thing is one of them lives inside the other's head now.
Yeah. Headmate.
Um, yeah, headmate type
Headmate
shit.
wife.
Yeah. Um, they are the most gay married couple in Sapphic World.
They're so beautiful.
Um,
I'm so happy for them.
Other games I've been playing. Um, Real big fan of Dark Heresy.
Mm.
Uh, for those who don't know, it's a really old 40K TTRPG.
I don't know if I've had any
Uh,
Hammerheads on here. I don't know if that's what you call Warhammer fans, but that's what I'm deciding to call them.
I think they should be called Hammerheads.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real. That's way cooler than whatever those nerds came up with.
Hammerheads.
In that game, I'm playing a fail girl of a tech priest.
Hell yeah.
Um, I've also been playing the wonderful Six Valentines Hell is
Oh
Full.
yeah, I've also been playing that in the same game as you even.
Yeah.
Yeah, good game.
Oh, my smells.
Oh, wet liverine. Oh, oh, I've never
Um,
had a crumb or a bite to eat or even a sip of delicious soup. Delicious beet soup.
I have also, yeah, see, Fantasy Flight 40K RPGs are the good ones. The Dark Heresy game actually is taking rules from all of them. So from Dark Heresy 1 and 2, um, Rogue Trader, and like a little bit of Dark Crusade. Is it Dark Crusade? Black Crusade? Space Marine one. Very fun. Um yeah. Playing Hellish Fall. Recently started playing Lancer.
Oh yeah, you have
I've
been playing
been
that.
introduced to Lancer
How
by
is that?
also six. I can see the appeal.
Mhm.
I also understand the weird politics issues within it.
I mean, the unpeople.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um Listen, I've listened to many a late night rants from Six
Yeah.
about the weird politics of Lancer.
And the like utopian imperial center.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um
yeah.
but it's a fun combat mech game.
It does seem fun. Good,
Um
good for Lancer. Hmm.
good for Lancer.
Good for Lancers and
Lancerettes.
the Lancerettes, the
Yeah.
Lanceritos.
Lanterinos.
Uh, yeah. Bu- 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 are there any upcoming games that you're excited for? Anything that's not out? Anything that you want to point your finger towards?
Um I mean, I think I've mentioned too, Sapphic World count as an unreleased game.
I would say so. It's not out.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure if the Ash can count.
No, that's not the game. That's you can't even play that.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's just stuff to look at, just stuff to read,
That's
to get a
fair.
sense of what the vibe is.
Um,
Hell is full, obviously, I imagine.
yeah, Hell is Full. Where you play as little demons, you know, thinning the herd of the damned mortal souls in hell.
Yeah,
Um, uh, Sapphic World, of course. See, the thing is,
yeah.
and this is fact number 4 about me. Um, I'm kind of a cryptid, so I don't really keep track of things.
Understandable and respectable.
I deleted Twitter like a couple months ago, and I've been so much happier.
Yeah, I imagine. It's not fun there. It gets worse all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good.
No, it's a bad place.
It's not fun, it's not funny. And you know,
It's so sad.
I think that uh I think that there are many models for how one could run a website. I would suggest that, more uh more individuals who are running websites in the modern era, more social media website CEOs look into the way that something awful was managed. I think that there's a lot
Yeah,
to be learned from Lotax. Uh, just about
exactly.
the way that one would run a one would run a website and then perhaps their withdrawal from it. Um, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that's a bit of a dark joke, but yeah, I don't want
No, you're correct though.
Elon should get out of here. I don't. Yeah. Anyways,
I'll fight him.
um, what sort of trends in the TTRPG scene excite you or annoy you? Either or both.
Mm, uh, so, like, the only trend I'm really aware of is the trend of trans women making tabletop RPGs that are thinly veiled excuses to be, you know, um,
Yeah,
myself included. I think Sapphic World counts under that.
horny. We can say that on this show.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Nasty.
Yeah, nasty little
Sex,
creature.
sex, sex. Lots of
Sex?
kink.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
agree.
and I think the best art is written by perverts, and
Yeah,
I
so
think
true.
this trend is a very good trend.
Even if the art itself isn't perverted, I think that having being a little
I
bit
think just
perverted.
being a bit of a pervert makes you better at art, personally.
I would I would be tempted to agree. Um,
Good.
yeah. Um, I think if I have anything else. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Anything that you'd like to mention while we're in the interview phase?
Let's see. So, the video game stuff. Oh, I forgot to mention. So, there's a second game I'm working on far into the future, called Caravans of Noga. Um, that's going to be a mecha game.
Hell yeah,
Um, it is very early in development, but yeah.
I'm excited for it. I've
I've
seen some
also
stuff
made,
from it. Looks cool.
yeah. I've also did make a war game about demons fighting over magic space rocks.
Oh,
Um, yeah, which I kind of keep forgetting exists, and I should probably put that on my itch.
it's like
Um,
that. What's the game?
so the game is called Seven Queens, and so um, the idea is so it's a war game. Of course, you make a little army list of your little demons. Um, and so the lore, right, is that so you have hell, right?
Yeah,
And then you have so hell has been broken apart into seven pieces um from what is known as this heavenly rock. Yeah, there's seven queens in this economy and they're all fighting each other.
was full. Now it's broken up, split.
Yeah, now it's broken up. And so the seven queens, which are all going to be based on the seven deadly sins. There's only two made at the moment, but I should definitely dedicate time to making the other ones because I have ideas.
Hell yeah.
Um, but you play as a little war band of one of the seven queens. Um, and yeah, the main reason why this game was made is because I wanted to experiment with the idea of pulling marbles from a bag.
Oh,
Yeah, so whenever you have a unit that does an action, right, you will they'll have a score of saying, their attack level, right? Say it's like 3, and you're fighting something with a defense of 2. So you put 3 success marbles in there, or dice. I just use dice in a bag. But you put 3 success marbles in there and 2 failure marbles, and then you like blind bag it and pull a marble. And depending on which marble you get will determine the outcome of it.
fun. I like draw mechanics are fun. I've seen it a lot for like initiative, but that's neat though.
Yeah, I think uh No, I think I've made Sloth already. There's a giant copper statue lady.
By the way, we are awaiting your emails. I will mention that again.
Yes, send your
Please send emails
emails.
to darlingdemoneclipse@gmail.com and we will answer all of your questions. I promise, forever. Real.
Yeah, 1 million year stream.
1 million year of love, and we answer your question once, and then you
Yeah.
smile forever. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. Uh, okay. Do you think maybe uh I think it might be time for news if you want to go to
Yes,
the
news
news.
time.
Okay.
I'm
Let me.
so excited. Do not forget the bird.
Yes.
Bird is so sad.
Coming from a beautiful spa in the mountains, it's Cordus, calm, collected, peaceful, serene. Um, so we have three stories as usual. We almost didn't. We almost had two, but we got one last one.
We found one. Yeah.
So let's start with this was mentioned vaguely last time, but I want to talk a bit more about it because it seems really cool. We're gonna talk about the new Possum Creek Games backer kit uh campaign
Yippee!
for Grand Guignol. Wait,
Guignol.
Guignol, is that how you say it?
That's how I say it.
Okay, Grand
There's a
Guignol
band
and
that
Harvest.
I like named that.
Okay.
Yes.
Grand Guignol is a like an urban like gothic horror game, and Harvest is a like rural gothic horror game. I think it's kind of the fundamental, maybe not gothic, but they are like British
Gothic.
horror. Grand Guignol is Victorian, and Harvest is a folk horror RPG at a rural island off the coast of England. I've seen Harvest being made actually in the Possum Creek Games Patreon server, which I
Oh,
really
that's
recommend
awesome.
if you want to like talk to people about uh games. It's a cool place. It's I would say it's similar to Reliquary Street in vibe. Um,
Oh, that's cool.
but yeah, this game looks really cool. One of the things that I wanted to talk about with it
Yes.
is that it's on BackerKit, which I think is really intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I know there was a lot of concern initially. I know Yuzeba's Bed and Breakfast was supposed to be on Kickstarter, and then there was a lot of concern about the AI stuff from Kickstarter and the I think it was NFT stuff. Um, and so they moved
I
over.
think they started using the blockchain.
Oh
I think
right,
what it was
yes, you're right.
like yearish.
And then so Yuzeba's moved over to Indiegogo, and now they're doing BackerKit, which I've heard really good things about. I've heard great things about BackerKit. Um, I
Yeah.
I I don't know. I guess I'll ask. I don't. I'll give my opinion. Really quickly,
Yes.
which is like I think I hope that this helps indies move away from Kickstarter because like PCG is probably the like I think they're one of the larger game publishers in their like band of kind of like the like below Evil Hat but above like uh you know a guy
Me.
uh area. um so I don't know. I think I think it's a good sign that they're sticking away from Kickstarter, even after the blockchain
Yes.
stuff.
No, if I remember correctly, Kickstarter takes like an insane cut from your projects, right?
Let me see.
I don't remember exactly what the cut was, but it was like kind
So
of crazy.
Kickstarter takes 5%, and then
Yeah.
they also take 3 to 5% in payment processing fees.
Yeah.
How much does BackerKit take? 3.5%,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
is
See,
not bad.
yeah, no, like a normal like 3%, it's like okay, that makes sense. It's when it's like, yeah, we're gonna be taking like 5 to 8% uh of this, which is kind of a lot,
I
and
will
that's not
say
even like getting into taxes.
there might be some stuff that's like a little tricky with the way the backer kit talks about their fee, because
Uh-huh.
Kickstarter is a fee on top of your funding total. BackerKit
Okay.
is a 3.5% transaction fee applied to all funds raised in BackerKit, which includes add-on sale, pre-orders, upgrades, shipping fees, taxes, and funds retrieved from reinstated pledges, if applicable. So the vibe that I'm getting is that BackerKit takes from each payment, while Kickstarter takes a total of 5%.
Yeah. And I think just taking a little bit from each payment is more ethical.
Potentially.
Let's like obviously, something capitalism.
Like, I don't know what the numbers look like depending on scale. Like, it could add up to more. I don't really have a good sense of
Mhm.
what's what. But
That's fair.
shrugs.
But
It does seem like it's better overall. I mean,
yeah.
it's there's a lot more accountability thus far. Although anything can get bought by venture capital these days.
God, yeah.
I don't know.
We
It's
should
interesting.
remove those.
I have heard broadly good things about BackerKit from people who do this stuff frequently. So
Okay, that's good.
I want to say that it's good. I just don't really know the details. I have to start, doing my own my own crowdfunding stuff soon for Fourth Empire. Well, not soon, but at some point. I need to finish the
Yeah.
book first because I don't want to. I don't want to do a crowdfund for a book I haven't finished. Uh, but yeah, this looks really cool. And then there's also this really cool uh thread from hang on, let me actually. So this is coming up tomorrow, the backer kit. So if you want to support this, you got. Hey,
Yes.
Courtney, thank you for the follow. Welcome.
Thank you, Courtney.
We're talking about TTRPGs. We're talking about Grand Wignall and Harvest from Possum Creek Games coming soon. So this is a thread. No wonder I didn't know you were streaming. I wasn't following you, I guess. Yeah, this is my
What the heck?
good friend of mine, Courtney, who's very very cool. But so this is from Luke, who is the writer for both games. So I want to talk
Ooh.
about. Let me see how long this is before I start reading it. Yeah, we can read through this. I want to
Yes,
talk
read it.
about gender, and I probably won't read the screen caps, but I'll read the text. I want to talk about gender in Grand Guignol. The game had to address it. It was a deep Victorian anxiety. Its transgression is core to Gothic horror, and it's part of queerness. But I didn't want to directly depict historic and enduring prejudice or demand players reenact it. In the end, I leaned on subtext and a clear opt-in. Roles are written with an eye to where their particular queer allegory overlap with period expectations of gender. The roles also share a common pick list about how they are viewed by society versus how they view themselves. For example, the Beast explores themes of bravado, repression, and monstrosity. At their worst, they reject help, pick fights, and live large to try and down their monstrous urges. At their best, they accept their true desires and learn to open up, to change, and to others. So
Change.
to change, whoa.
Whoa.
I like that. So the pick list here: choose 2 ways society sees you, and this is for the Beast, which I guess is like one of the playbooks roles.
Nice.
Choose 2 ways society sees you, and 2 ways you see yourself: a man, charming, vulgar, courageous, violent, desirable, brutish, capable, dissolute, arrogant. Which I think allows for a very specific, but like, I don't know, a specific but detailed space for things
Yeah.
to do with it. I think that's really fun.
I love when games have mechanics based on queer stuff.
Me too. If society views the Beast as a man, the read is simple. The inhibited moves are a straitjacket of masculine expectation imposed on them by the culture that surrounds them. The transgressive moves reject these demands, letting them break out and freely express their true self. So my sense is that this is a belonging outside belonging game, which means it's token based. So there are probably, if I had to guess, if I had to take a, actually I wonder if there's maybe something one of these. No. If I had to take a guess, you probably get tokens from making making inhibited moves and spend them by making transgressive moves, although I don't know for sure. Uh,
Yeah.
if the beast sees themselves as a man, when society does not, the inhibited moves are the ways that he must conform to normative masculine standards in order to pass. Transgressive moves then represent a personal and liberatory reimagining of a queer, freer masculinity. And of course,
Yeah.
if the player would rather not explore this territory, they don't have to interact with that option at all. Absent a man, the moves continue to describe a struggle with repression and bravado, typical of your werewolves and Mr. Hydes. This queering of the Victorian Gothic is the beating heart of Grand Guignol, and you can buy the game to see how it pervades every nook and cranny of the game's haunted vision of London this Halloween. Uh, Seems really cool. I'm excited for this game. I will probably back it, depending on what the price range is, because I don't have money.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it seems neat
No,
though.
but
The Mr. Beast.
yeah, no, I fucking love when you have games that are like weird, right? But like bake it into the rules of the game.
Yeah, agreed.
I always think that's super cool.
I think so too. I've
Also,
been writing. Oh, sorry.
also, monster fucker games in general are really
Yes,
cool.
that this has vibes. I will say. I don't. I imagine it's not going to be like PCG's tone is not generally that, but I imagine this will have some of those vibes, which I think will be nice.
Yeah, a little bit at least.
I've
Same
been
general message.
Yeah, I've been writing the last title for Sapphic World, and it almost makes me want to like go back and not rewrite, but I want to like change some of the pick lists for some of the other titles to be like more. I like that like I kind of like when the clamps of the playbook kind of come in on the player and like kind of limit the possibility space for a certain type of character, because it means that like
Yeah,
there's more. It's like creating kind of a backstory in its own right. I
yeah,
think it's really fun.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Hi, Death
Um,
Angle. Welcome.
hello.
Uh, yeah. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts about this?
Uh, no, not specifically. I'm not super familiar with Awesome Creek, so
Fair. Uh,
uh,
you want to talk about games for Gaza?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I talked about this last week, but I thought it was important. You know, we have another like progressive Jewish trader on. I thought it would be nice to talk about this again. And also there's an update which I think which is kind of nice.
Oh hell
Actually, I
yeah!
need to buy this. I really should. Um, so the Games for Gaza bundle has made $218,000, which is really
Yeah,
impressive. I believe for
that's awesome.
PTRF. Oh no, sorry, for MAP, for Medical Aid for Palestinians. Um, yeah, their final goal is 300,000. They have 9 days left, and it's been really heartening to see just the sheer amount of like um pushback to the uh to like the
The
um
circumstances.
yeah, the circumstances and like kind of the Zionist canon almost, like the
Yeah,
actually we had Riley on last week, who talked about their anthology DOVECOTE, which is an expression meaning here-ness that was used by the Jewish Labor Bund. Um, and I think it's a really important idea in like exploring in like being a Jewish person in this context.
yes.
I've learned so much in like the last couple weeks that I just didn't know um about the project of the Zionist project. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
like learning the I think the thing that hit me the hardest was like learning that the like the Zionists like chartered chartered the Israeli colony, like did not have respect for Holocaust survivors because they like saw them as weak. Um
Yeah, That makes almost too much sense.
Yeah. Um, and I don't know. I just think that there's a lot to. I think there's a lot to. There's a lot to like understand and comprehend and explore. Um, as we as we deal with the situation. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts? Sorry, I'm kind of
No, you're
on my
fine.
soapbox a bit.
Um, no, it's my soapbox. No, I'm joking.
It's your soapbox
Uh,
now.
yeah. No, I think the this little bundle, this big bundle, it's a really big bundle.
Yeah, it's got what
So many games
256
in it.
256 items, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's doing good. Um, obviously, fuck Israel. God,
Yeah, not a big fan of it.
not a big fan of states in general.
Yeah,
Super not a big fan of the United States. Even less of a fan of the United States to Electric Boogaloo.
right. Yeah,
Um, but weirdly philosemitic in its perk causes.
yeah. Um, I know that there's some complications with like how much help this sort of stuff does actually provide, which I think is an
Hmm.
important part to discuss. Um,
Yeah.
which is that like there are like you know like it's hard to talk about this stuff because you don't want to sound like a cynic, right? Um,
Yeah.
but I think it is important to be aware of the fact that like that this is good, this is
Thou hast
important.
journeyed far.
Hey, Caro, hi, welcome. We're talking, uh,
Oh God.
we're talking with Lilith Lilac, TTRPG
Hi.
designer extraordinaire, about the Games for Gaza bundle and kind of getting out some of our thoughts about how things have kind of escalated over the past week or so. Um, it's a little heavy, so uh, yeah. I
Yeah.
hope you had fun. What were you up to, Caro? Thank you.
Yes. Tell us.
Shout out. Um, yeah. What I was saying was like I think it's important to discuss the fact that like this might not do as much as it seems like, but also to be um to not give in to like hopelessness and to believe that like the don't play Clock Tower Ghost had the struggle within if you get the chance it's not good. It seems bad. Everything that I've heard from Caro makes it seem bad. Um but yeah, uh I don't know. I think it's important to like be aware of like those consequences, but also to be uh I don't know words
Yeah.
like uh to 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 embrace what we can do, I think is really important.
Hmm.
Um and yeah, it's
No,
just
I
been
agree.
like really like you don't see, I mean at least I haven't seen, I don't know if this is a thing, but like you don't see like Israeli demonstrators because they have nothing to demonstrate for. They're getting what they wanted, right? Um
Yeah.
but like there's so much demonstration from like pro-Palestinian folks, pro-Palestinian Jews, pro-Palestinian Muslims, uh
Hmm.
that yeah, it's really important to uh it's really important to oppose the narrative that like this is the
This is for the greater good of the Jewish people.
yeah, this is the agreed upon stance for the Jewish people that
We're going
this is
to repeat
okay.
the 14 words, but, replace white with Jew.
Yeah, exactly. Um yeah, I
Oh,
just frankly don't feel represented by that state or that ideology. Um
yeah.
and I don't
But,
think
I
anyone
mean,
should.
like, I think fundamentally, Israel just doesn't exist for the greater good of the Jewish people.
Yeah,
Because,
true.
like, I remember when I was on Twitter and more generally politically active or knowledgeable about current events, there were so many stories about X Jewish group is getting, eradicated from X country, and Israel waits so long before like actually doing anything that
Mhm.
it's like don't lie to people about your purpose.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I also think like um I don't think like this the Zionist project believes in diaspora. Like if you look at like um the sterilization of Ethiopian Jews in the state, um
Yeah,
it's not it is a white supremacist project that is wearing a uh you know wearing a pro Jewish coat of paint basically.
yeah, and yeah, I feel like it's important to oppose any state performing a genocide,
Yeah,
albeit that is
mhm.
every state.
True.
Um, but it's important.
It is. And I also think that the I am opposed to anti-Semitism, right? Uh,
Yeah,
and that's why I don't like Israel, like,
yeah,
uh, because
exactly.
it's not a state that has the interests of anyone who doesn't live inside of it, and including people who live inside of it. It doesn't have their interests in mind. It doesn't have the
Yeah.
interest of the Christian Palestinians who are having their churches bombed. It doesn't have the interests of Jewish Palestinians, uh,
Now
Muslim Palestinians whose mosques are being bombed.
they do have an interest in American evangelical
Oh,
conservatives.
they love that because those guys have
They
money.
love them. Exactly.
They want the
And
weapons.
something wanting to end the world or something.
Yeah, I've heard that theory. It's interesting. I think it's right to an extent, but it is also like uh
Like, I think that is the propaganda that the richer evangelical Christians in America use to get the poor evangelical Americans to get on their side.
yeah, that there are more terrifying material reasons for uh
Yeah, because,
for
like,
Christians having for evangelical American Christians having a a a dog in that race.
yeah,
That's also so true, Death Angle. I think
yes,
it's important to talk about the recent uptick in anti-Semitism across the world. Um, like it's not the thing that like Zionists and Israelis will want you to be convinced that it's like, oh, the Jews are so scared we can't go outside of our houses, but that that there is some that there is some reason to be concerned. And it is because of uh you know an ethno state that doesn't represent our interests
yeah,
just fucking doing whatever they want, killing whoever they want indiscriminately.
yeah, and also, like, I don't know, even if there was like this secret anti-Semitic like Muslim organization that was over there, I'm not being harmed by them.
Yeah,
Like, or really any other organized group, and fuck, I live in Florida, so it's very, I am near those groups, and it's just, no, I'm not. I'm able to leave my house.
yeah. I also think I think it's important, not necessarily important, that there is definitely, I'm trying to think of the way to say this. uh I don't like Israel because they caused Hamas and
Yeah.
Hamas killed a bunch of people. Like, there's this old Flash game that was released in the 2000s called 912, where you are a um you are a uh missile pilot, like missile targeter, missile targeting system, and there are terrorists and there are civilians, and you can only fire missiles, and you click, I'm going to target this terrorist, and then like five civilians near them die, and then those civilians, have funerals, and everyone who is there become quote unquote terrorists, and that is the problem with indiscriminate warfare, is that you radicalize all the survivors, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it definitely stuck with me too. I played that recently to kind of get a because I'd seen people talking about it on Twitter, and yeah, like if you make the decision, like, we are going to just kill indiscriminately, we are going to cut off food and water, we are going to poison the water that's there, uh it is a tragedy that people die, right? But it is your tragedy. The blood's on your hands because
Mm-hmm.
you you allowed that to grow, you allowed that to fester. um and like I think Hamas is a horrible uh reactionary organization, like reactionary Muslim organization, deeply anti-Semitic organization, that hasn't had a legitimate election since 2006. However, that all that blood is on Israel's hands. To me,
Yeah.
to my estimation,
But
I don't think they
I
have the sort of
cannot.
power, or like they don't have. They're all. It's all young people. Like,
Yeah.
no one can survive long enough to get the wisdom to not react in that way, because all their brothers and their lovers and their children are dying.
Yeah.
Sorry, I kind
No,
of went off there a little bit.
you're good. I agree. Uh, like, I can't really be mad that those organizations exist because of the circumstances that they're formed in.
Yeah, I mean,
The
I'm
the
mad.
the answer,
I'm just
huh?
mad at I'm mad. I'm just mad at Israel.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more productive to like be like this is the fault of Israel as opposed to blaming the people who, you know, are reacting.
Yeah, and people in Israel agree is the thing. Like, in the West, you're not
Yeah.
allowed to, like, in the U.S. and Britain, you're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to talk about these things. But in Israel, there are plenty of Jews who were born in Israel, or who traveled there, who agree with that stance.
Yeah.
And it's insane. It's really wild that, like, that's the I don't know. It's really rough.
It is very rough.
We should talk about some of the games in this bundle, because some of them are really good, and I think people should
Oh, yes.
know about them. The Ground itself, very, very good world building game. Songs for the Dusk, I have played on a podcast. Very, very good. I believe it's a Blades in the Dark, but it's like a post-apocalyptic sci-fantasy tabletop RPG about building a better future. It's like a soft Blades in the Dark.
God, sci fantasy, my beloved.
Yeah. Beam Saber, another Forged in the Dark game about mechs, which is very good.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, did you say Straight Magic? I have not played, but I've heard it's very good. Uh, If I Grow Up by Kevin Petker, I think is a very relevant game. It is a Jenga-based game where you are uh, role-playing as children in peril. Thus the name, If I Grow Up.
Yeah.
Uh, what else here? I'm looking. Uh, 10 million HP planet. If you want to do absurd amounts of damage to a planet, that's a very good Sandy Pug game. Monster Care Squad, also another good Sandy Pug game. We don't need to talk about the the being awesome in water thing. I think we've talked about that on here before. Uh, but
No, I
it's
think we
generally
we
a very
talked
good game.
about that not on stream.
Oh, okay,
I
well,
remember that
I
conversation.
won't talk about it. I'll be nice.
You gotta be nice.
I gotta be nice on my show. No, it's a good game. It just has one move that annoys me. uh, what else? I don't know a lot of these, which is good because it means you can try them out. Wait, hang on. Didn't Wendy have the thing in here?
Maybe?
Wendy. I could have sworn that Wendy had something in here. It might not be in the physical games category. Wendy. What? Wait, I could have sworn that I saw her zombie game. Oh, sorry, it's Curish Ripston. Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
We the Shambling Ones by friend
We the Shambling One.
Wendy Ripston.
Yeah, shout out to Wendy Ripston.
I think eventual guest Wendy Ripston. I forget if she's scheduled. Let me see any other like video games. Let's see. We're looking. We're searching. I need to like look at all these damn games.
Yeah.
Sounds of Aldmura, the OST for Monster Care Squad, also very cool to have for like an RPG. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I should make one of those.
Yeah, I should make one for Sapphic World. That'd be really fun. Although I don't know if I can make the sounds that I would need for that. DOVECOTE, which I mentioned earlier.
Listen, I've made some MuseScore masterpieces.
Hell yeah. Vignettes is a very good like toy box type game. Really like that.
Ooh.
You Are a Wizard, very good video game, which I've played on stream at least once. Extreme Meat Punks Forever by the same person. I've heard Arcade Spirits is pretty good. I always see this game Gunhouse. I haven't tried this yet. But anyways.
I assume there's a gun in the house.
I guess so.
Gun house.
Yeah, that is also true. Like Israel has supported Hamas as a state because they want more blood. They want to be stated.
You can't have colonialist propaganda if you don't have the other to propagandize against.
Yeah, they needed the worst unit. They needed the worst power possible to be ruling there so they could make things even worse.
Yeah.
Justify more bloodshed.
Fucking they're doing in America again.
Yeah, it's classic regime change. You create an enemy so that you can continue going to war, so that you can continue flooding the arms manufacturers. The only difference with Israel is it's a step removed because it just gets money. We pay them so that they can buy guns from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a cool bundle.
Yeah. You want to talk about OSR now? You want to talk about how OSR must die? Yeah. Okay. So this was an article that I saw today, which I really, really liked. From Marcia B, who I don't know, but they seem really cool. And I really, hang on, they also have an itch. I don't recognize any of their stuff. However, they did a very good like retrospective on the OSR. Yeah. I post that. Hi, Nuka Max. Thank you for the.
Hi, Max.
Thank you for being nice to Lilith, my guest, my wonderful guest. So I think to get a sense of what the vibe is in this article, I'm just gonna skip ahead a bit. You're welcome to read this on your own. I think we're just gonna skim through it because there's some really good bits.
Yes.
I quite liked this bit here. So this is an article about the OSR, the old school revival of TTRPGs, which was a group, a movement that started in the 2010s, with the intent of returning to a sort of fantasized or imagined D&D 1E 2E era, after the release of D&D 3. Um, so what's neat about this article is it kind of explores the ways that like that is kind of fake. Like uh there is no real OS. Oh, hang on. There's no real old school because the OSR like basically did their own thing, and then we're like, actually, this is the way the games always were. Um, like there was no ruling instead of rules in actual old school TTRPGs. So a bit that I really liked was hang on, that broke. Bit that I really liked was so this is about James Malzewski in What's a Grognard from 2008. Malzewski argued elsewhere that the OSR has no grand unifying principle beyond a love for RPGs, particularly Dungeons & Dragons and its older editions, but rather than being a reactionary revival, it included the creative force of a renaissance. He said many people who identify with the OSR are just playing the way they want to play and doing it themselves DIY, rather than receiving that playstyle from a book sold to them. This is best represented by Matthew J. Finch's A Quick Primer for Old School Gaming, which outlines principles such as rulings, not rules, player skill, not character skill, heroes, not superheroes, and forgetting game balance. Many of these maxims contradict the ethos of TSR-sanctioned play and reject the advice Gygax gave in Advanced D&D. But regardless, because of the movement's fervor to establish itself, there were materials being made that were not retroclones, but instead wholly new works that apparently, parentheses, share an ethos of design with those old D&D editions. The OSR was still in its infancy, Melziski concludes, and whether it would result in a renaissance proper was that yet to be seen. I don't know. What did you think about this article? I thought it was really great.
So I don't have too much experience with OSR games in general. I know that much like black metal, they have issues
Yeah.
with people who use that label. But I'm not gonna shit on black metal, especially not with Max in the chat.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because there's a handful of like fascists who really like it.
Yeah, like I've seen pretty neat. I've seen really very nice people who are pro OSR, which is nice. It's good to see that. I've seen plenty of sweetheart grognards.
Yeah. I think the idea of having a movement based on the recreation of older forms can be very easily twisted into those ideas. But I do think there is a cool idea of preserving older things by D&D to look at, just for like the sake of preservation of the media. I think TTRPGs are in a special spot where the medium isn't that old.
Yeah, absolutely.
Compared to like other mediums, and I think it's important to keep, records of that. Now, I personally don't enjoy the core assumptions that were listed out in the thing of like rulings not rules, player characters, or what was it? Player skill, not character skill.
Yeah, I don't like that. It's very annoying. It's very cringe.
The problem is that the good OSR people have a very not the entire OSR community attitude whenever you mention the bad element.
Yeah, there are full-on Nazis in the OSR.
Yeah. Listen, I think both black metal and OSR have a Varg problem.
Yeah, I didn't know until reading this, but in 2011, or sorry, 2011, uh, uh, Google Plus was a big hub for OSR. I knew that it was a big hub
Yeah,
for the first like powered by the apocalypse games. I didn't know about the OSR thing. That's very interesting
yeah,
to say. Um,
yeah.
it
It's very similar to Warhammer,
it is just
except I don't think OSR existed to originally make fun of them. Anyways,
yeah. I just think that like the theory that this uh article puts out that like OSR was never really old school. Like it was just people doing what they wanted and what they did at their tables in like making books where you have to do the things that they did at their tables is really interesting. And is an
yeah,
idea that I've not heard expressed before. Um and I would love to like talk to someone who has OSR. I don't know. Maybe I can see if I can get someone I know, an OSR person on here, to talk about it at some point because that's like it does seem like there was a lot of like I don't know extrapolation, and then also like they talk about how D&D 5e was supposed to have uh OSR elements according to Mike Merles, which it kind of does, right? Um,
yeah.
I don't know. And then Morkborg
Oh,
obviously is like a more recent one. I also didn't know that Morkborg was out before Google Plus dropped. Uh,
oh, no.
it's kind of interesting. The idea that OSR is actually just people role playing rules about role playing is deliciously. Yeah, that's so true. You're so right about
Yeah.
that.
Um, no, listen, I have the opinion. My hottest RPG take, tabletop RPG take is it's okay not to play a game and just like role play. Cause
I
like
agree.
I have only played a handful of notably bad games that use OSR ideas, primarily Cyberpunk Red.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like coloring my point of view of all OSR via Cyberpunk Red, which is really fucking bad, would be doing a disservice. I don't know, maybe sometime I'll get to playing like Work or something. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Well, I think we're both working on games that are a little bit OSR. Like,
Yeah,
I think that Euphoria has OSR elements. Like the whole cheese thing is very OSR. It's
yeah.
very
Well,
rulings instead of rules.
I mean,
And I guess it's more
does
I'm
it?
playing with mechanics that are rules. Maybe I'm wrong
Yeah,
about that.
I don't know. I've been thinking about it recently because, like, I think my biggest issue of understanding OSR is I don't know what it means.
It kind of means everything and nothing. It seems like.
Yeah, like from this article, it kind of is just like, yeah, OSR doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, this paragraph. Each group interested in the OSR playstyle identifies in some way with the OSR, or at least defines their identity relative to the OSR, but in different ways. Is the OSR a revival of AD&D or some other TSR edition of the game? Is it a renaissance of new materials, such as adventures and retro clones, compatible with those old games? Is it a design document guided by the same ethos of play as early D&D? Is it like porn, in that you have to that you know it when you see it? Rather than saying these definitions are all correct, I claim they are all wrong. Not because there is a true definition of the OSR, because the OSR has no definition. The existence of any supposed OSR is predicated on an imagined relationship with the past, a false history to which it lays claim. Which is so true.
Yeah, which is like the one definition of OSR I've heard that like makes sense of it means nothing ultimately.
Yeah.
And like that's fine. I think I think there's concepts that are present in OSR, like my distaste for Cyberpunk Red has led to various design choices in Euphoria, for example.
Yeah.
Um, I also feel like from like my understanding of older games, they were very simulationist, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
like I've played I think the oldest game I've played is like Empire of the Petal Throne, I think it's called. The one made by the Nazi that isn't Gygax.
Oh, I'm looking at this. Oh
That
yeah,
was somehow
gotcha.
less racist than original D&D.
Oh, Marbaker, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
neo-Nazi slash white supremacist work. I'm seeing this on his Wikipedia page.
yeah.
Kill. Oh, he's dead.
I
Good.
think he's dead.
Yeah.
Kill him again. So like, and obviously there are issues with the setting beyond it being made by a neo-Nazi. Um, it is a very it's not it's not orientalist, but it's like fetishizing of Mesoamerican civilizations.
Couldn't find it. Yeah.
That's probably for the better.
No,
Um,
I was looking for the HLVRAI. I'm glad he died.
I'm glad he died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and from playing it, it was fairly simulationist.
Yeah.
And I think my opinion is I can enjoy like simulationist stuff, but it has to be like directed. I
Mm.
think my issues with, say, Cyberpunk Red is it's very not directed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Um, where it just kind of like you can't.
Okay, that's enough. Sorry. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Oh no, I'm trying to put into words what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. It's very like almost like I don't get the point, I guess.
Yeah, it's like why would you simulate all of this when you can just not and it'll be
Yeah,
more fun to play. Like IMO games should have themes. And it's really hard to have
yeah,
themes when it's just like, all right, roll for breathing,
yeah. So like,
roll for shit
I
your
think
pants.
Euphoria has a handful of those concepts, of those very like simulationist game concepts,
Yeah.
but only in favor of the theme. So like, Euphoria's theme is very much like protecting your community from a queer community from an impressive force outside of it
Right.
that is trying to destroy it. And um there are survival aspects of it, like, hey, you need to make sure your character is like eating, you know
You gotta eat.
you gotta eat, you can't not eat. But I also understand that it's really annoying having to like track your days of rations
Right.
and your money and like 15 other resources. Um, so I, do my best to like condense it and fit it in with the story or
Yeah.
with the setting.
I for
Um,
one like it. I think it's very fun.
yeah. And all of my ideas that are a bit more simulationist but still ultimately fit the theme, I have made into a separate mode of the game.
Yeah, I think that's very
Uh,
smart.
for my mental illness
For
specifically.
your specific mental illness. Yeah.
Yes.
Love it.
Uh, yeah, but like I know not every OSR game is simulation-X,
Yeah,
so it's just like
because it doesn't mean anything. Because
yeah,
it means everything and nothing.
yeah. Um,
Like if you tell me that you're making a belonging outside belonging game, I know what you're talking about. If you say you're making an OSR game, we're gonna have to have a
yeah,
interrogation.
I have questions.
I'm gonna step on
Sit
you.
in this chair. Whoa.
I'm gonna step on this person until they explain to me, and that's real. Uh, yeah. I think that's probably enough for that article for feeling
Yeah,
good about
I
that.
think that was a productive.
Do you want to go to our? We don't have emails. Do you want to go to our last thing?
We, we don't have emails.
Yeah, I mean, if people send emails before the show's over, we will respond to them.
Yeah, let's go to the last thing. My
So
favorite thing.
this is not news. This is not interview. This is not mail.
This is a 3-year-old Reddit post.
This is a fourth mysterious thing.
Yeah.
All right. I have an idea for a Minecraft TTRPG, but I want to know if it's worth making. From Seth Mo Dreamer, 3 years ago. So after doing some brainstorming, I think that Minecraft setting and its mechanics could be converted into a tabletop system. This would be inspired more by Minecraft Story Mode and Minecraft Dungeons than the base game, but simulating standard Minecraft would be possible. It could be possible with some tweaks. My only question before I sink any effort into this is, would anyone even want to play it? This would be purely a passion project, so making a profit is not a concern of mine. Even so, I don't want it to be a fruitless effort. What are your thoughts? So what do we think?
So, my opinion is I think if you're going to be making a TTRPG based on a video game, it is more important to get the feeling, themes, and vibes of the video game as opposed to
The lore.
just the raw mechanics.
I feel like also the lore. Who wants to play a game? It wants to play like D&D in the setting of Minecraft.
Yeah, and I think that's why they specified more akin the setting of Minecraft more akin to like uh Minecraft story mode or dungeons because I think those have lore.
I know. I think we might wind up disagreeing on this because I have very specific feelings about this.
Yes, tell me your feelings.
So my feelings is that it should not be based on Minecraft Story Mode and Minecraft Dungeons, and that it should be more of like a exploration building, like base building TTRPG in a
Oh yeah, yeah, I
mostly
agree
empty world
completely.
with some communes that you can go to and trade with.
No, I agree with that completely. Oh, I do think it would be more both a more compelling project of here is a game about exploring this strange and empty world and have fun building.
Right, there would need to be a bit more to it, but I just don't like the idea. I don't find Minecraft Story Mode or Minecraft Dungeons settings compelling because
No,
they
I
are just
don't
kind of
either.
aping like medieval tropes. I think you need to like play with the what would a society look like in a world where I don't know. There's so many ways you could take it that are not boring.
Yeah. Um like I think Euphoria has been you've compared Euphoria to a very Fallout-esque game.
Yeah,
Um so it's like and that's entirely like incidental, but that's because like the aesthetics are very similar.
yeah,
And you know, like the idea of like kind of post-apocalyptic, you're in like this wasteland-esque place, you're
going to
talking to
dungeons.
people, surviving, you're fucking plundering like ancient pre-war shit.
Yeah,
Um and I think something like that would be more important for a Minecraft TTRPG. Like, make a world where and like some mechanics on exploring and make some like weird shit in that world.
Yeah, I agree.
It's me. I'm going to make the Minecraft TTRPG.
Awesome. I feel like building mechanics would be somewhat important though. Like I think like
Oh,
community building and base
absolutely.
building.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Listen, this
mining.
is where we can take the what is the Resident Evil suitcase called?
Uh oh, like the like yeah, like suitcase mechanics, suitcase inventory.
Yeah, Resident Evil suitcase mechanic, but for your base.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of just Fourth Empire a little bit in some ways. It's got
Listen,
vibes.
maybe Eclipse has already made the Minecraft TTRPG we've been wanting and dying for.
Maybe I have, but I also flooded it with substances that we cannot talk about. Do you want to read the replies here? I feel like I kind of want to read the
Oh,
replies.
yeah, yeah, we should.
So funny you
Uh,
mentioned this. We designed a TTRPG system with the specific mindset of this is a cool world. How can I run a game as we build it? As we built it. We ended with a fundamental interaction structure that allows for players to make custom abilities and items, and the GM can create any mechanic or creature and have a baseline of balance. It's called World Proscenia RPG and will be out soon for free. Good for them.
cool.
Sure. Uh, yes. Also, it's a passion project. It's probably going to be fun to make anyways. I recently did a Minecraft TTRPG and boy was it fun to make. And some friends of mine even I shouldn't look at this. That would be very mean. Wanted and did end up playing it a bit. Uh,
Page not found.
or should I
The
look at it?
file's been
Oh,
deleted.
that's sad. Build it anyway. Because Reddit is such a random mix of folks that are hard to gauge. Do it.
Yeah.
Lilith just found this. It's really good. I really like it. I think it's a very
Um,
funny little thread.
listen, I made the joke of here, we can. I think someone made the joke of the Minecraft TTRPG is coming out.
Yeah, it would actually be really funny to do a segment one of these days for one of these streams if there's like no news where I just read. I know Draconic has done this where I just read the like D&D uh like D&D vent Reddit where it's like there was a rogue who stole everyone else's items and killed them all and left the inn, left the tavern. Oh dang, we need to bring the bird in. We need to bring Apocrypha.
Yes, the mail bird.
We have no mail, so if you want to ask questions in the chat, you're free to do so.
Yeah, ask me a question.
Ask us any questions you have. Also,
Someone
I might expand
yeah,
this section out a bit. If you want to ask me any questions, you're welcome
me?
to. Yeah,
Fuck.
Duck, ask question.
Duck, what is your question?
Ask away. Ooh. By the way, I'm a little sickly. I don't know if folks can tell. So this one might not last as long as others. Favorite Minecraft
Favorite
creature?
Minecraft creature?
You go first.
Um, so I think squids before 1.13.
What did 1.13 do to them? Oh, when they could fly?
What 1.13 is the update that like redid the oceans, and I'm pretty sure that was the update that fixed the flying squids.
So sad.
Yeah, it's tragic, really. But I am also the fan of glowing squids.
Ursula, let me yeah.
Yeah, what's your favorite creature?
I quite like the Elay. I've recently gotten into them. I think they're really fun. I think there's a lot you can do with them.
Elays are pretty cute.
I think I was assuming they'd be more underwhelming than they are, but like there's a lot about both they're both just like cool pets to have around, and also they have a lot of like neat little mechanics. I really like the idea. I like that you can use them as like they break a lot of the not break. They're like a more lively version of a lot of like more basic farms, and I think that's really fun.
Yes,
Like if you set them to just pick up an item, they will like continuously, you know, bring it to a place if you set it up properly, and I think that's really cool.
that is pretty cool.
Yeah. Duck asks, Lilith, you seem to play. You seem like you playtest a lot. How do you manage so much testing? What is the best way to learn from the info you gather? How do you parse it? That's a good question now, especially I think because of stuff.
Yeah, so firstly, up until recently, I was unemployed. Um, so I just didn't have things to do other than to play games. Um, Secondly, I think it is valuable for both to play test your games with both game designers and not game designers. There have been uh, previous playtests I've done for Euphoria that don't have any designers, and the current playtest I'm running is all designers. Um, Now, the playtests with designers are just going to be more useful in general because other people who make games are going to have a deeper understanding of how games are made than those who don't.
Hmm.
Just like to give an example, last night at the Euphoria playtest, we found an issue with the combat where it felt very much like players did not have enough of the stamina resource to do cool things.
Yeah, kind of like the action
Right?
economy resource in the game.
Yeah, the action economy. And so after the session, we kind of brainstormed what would be a fix to this. And we had a couple of things. We had, what if you had free movement each turn, where you can just move without having to spend stamina? Another one was, what if you had 4 stamina instead of 3? And another one was, what if you regenerated 2 stamina instead of 1 each round? Um, and each one will fundamentally change how the game functions,
Yeah,
of course. But I think that is much more productive than, say, in the playtest I did that was not mostly designers, where the most relevant feedback I got was, is combat fun? Are you having fun playing the game?
and also it's too Jewish.
And yeah,
I mean that was just bad. That was just cringe. Uh, but yeah,
um, yeah.
yeah,
Uh, and also like writing notes, taking notes
yeah. That's really
of
helpful.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. We got another question coming in from
Yes.
uh Max. Do either of you have any rules or personal guidelines you follow in creating a new TTRPG? Feel free to hit that first.
So the first thing I kind of do is I kind of think about like, how do I want the mechanics of the game to work, like the core mechanical stuff, like dice system or resolution mechanic.
Yeah.
Um, so for example, caravans, I've mentioned it previously, uh, is so I started off with the idea of, I want to make a game that's like kind of a version of the setting of Caves of Cud.
But
Uh,
mechs.
but you're in like mechs, and also here is a way to have uh, a supply line structure beyond capitalism.
Yeah.
Um, it was mostly the first thing, and then I had the idea of like, oh, what if mechs? Because I had the idea of an RE briefcase, but it's your mech, and that's how
Yeah.
you like fit your stuff into it.
I would probably, I mean, I don't think you're describing CUD this way, but just to be clear for folks who are maybe curious about CUD or haven't played it, I would say that CUD's economy is like more ritualistic than capitalist. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah. Those are two separate ideas going into
yeah,
the same thing.
I assume so. I just wanted to mention for folks.
Yeah, Cud is a very post, not necessarily post capitalist, but like
It's all water. You're giving people water and blood and stuff they need
yeah,
to survive. It's a very
exactly.
interesting way of doing currency. I love CUD. Caves of CUD. Get Caves of
Caves
CUD
of
on
Cud.
Steam. It's really good.
Yeah, play it, buy it. They're switching to Godot at
Yeah,
some point, I think.
it's pretty awesome. I know that that's definitely a work in progress.
Yeah.
The Godot stuff. Um, hell yeah. Any other questions? Do folks have more questions? We're here. We're here to answer your questions. We're here to answer your emails. Um, we are actually.
Questions?
I didn't say the way that I make games.
Yes, tell us.
I so I've actually I've mentioned this before on these streams, but I will repeat because I assume that we have different viewers. So the way that I make TTRPGs is I start with I start very similar to you actually. I start with mechanic, start with central mechanic, and then I will from there figure out how. Well, actually, usually I start with a theme. I'll start with an idea, and I'll figure
Yeah.
out how I'll like come up with a central mechanic that I think fits it or something that I just want to work with. Um, and then I will expand that out into like kind of playable framework or not playable framework, but a framework for like the tone of the game, the way it plays. And then usually I'll like think about like what is I mean, I'm everyone knows that I'm very like treasures, right? I like treasures realm. I mean, I invented treasures realms and guys as a framework, or not invented it, but
Versus Realms and
I
Guides, my
identified
favorite
it.
framework.
Which is this idea that like games, a good way to think about a game, uh, not necessarily all games, but a game is what are the characters in this game? What are the things that are found in this game? And what are the places that players go in this game? Um, and from there, I'll usually try and kind of reflect on that. Sometimes I'll like completely change the base mechanic if I feel like it's not fitting the vibe, or if it's like too much work. Like that's something that I did with Fourth Empire recently. Is I fully changed the main mechanic because I thought it'd be too much work to make the game playable otherwise, and I wanted to be a bit more flexible. Feel free to ask multiple questions. I would love more questions.
So many questions for us.
So many questions.
We're scarfing them down. We're so
Devouring them.
hungry.
But yeah, and then usually I'll like make whatever those treasures, guys, and realms are,
Mm-hmm.
and that'll be the game. So like if you look at try to think of a game that I have out, like Warehouse Pitches, for example. Warehouse Pitches has the places you can go. It has the types of characters you can play as the playbooks, and it has uh the treasures as the different little items that you can pick up as you're exploring. And also usually I'll have like some sort of inspiration from like a game, like Warehouse Pitches is very much Hexcraft Harlequin Fair, the immersive sim by Oleander Garden. So I tend to have a pastiche, and if not, I don't know. I don't. I think I usually write from some sort of angle of pastiche, but not I get very frustrated with some games that are just pastiche. I try to give my own twist to it. But yeah,
Yeah, good question.
yeah, very good question. Do you want to take this next one from Max? Is there something common in other RPGs that you dislike or try to avoid in your own games?
Um, so, Eclipse recently, I think it was yesterday after the Euphoria playtest, where you said a specific quote about like tactical heavy games where it's like players sometimes won't do anything their turn and that's okay. I want to avoid that.
Yeah. Well, that's not a quote.
Um,
That was just me saying that there is a piece of general wisdom that it is okay for players to, yeah. Anyways, sorry. I'm being pedantic.
yeah. And I think I've had one too many D&D 5e sessions that have dragged on for hours upon hours. And Pathfinder, to be honest, where there are multiple rounds in a row where I just don't do anything, and that sucks. Um, yeah, it sucks real bad.
Yeah.
And so ideally with Euphoria, that's not necessarily a thing. Or you can at least do a little something uh during your turn.
A little something something.
Yeah, a little something something. Um Also on a similar note, now this is a very specific Lilith pet peeve, but when you have a combat game, right,
Yeah.
that uses terrain, but you don't give terrain rules
Like specs.
like specs. So like in Euphoria, each piece of terrain has like a list of traits. So like a factory wall will have cover 3 and obscuring.
Yeah.
This just means if you try to shoot someone on the other side, you're gonna get a penalty because you can't see them, and they get +3 armor. Real easy.
Yeah.
Um, most combat games do not give that. I have noticed,
Right.
and it's extremely frustrating.
I
Um,
can see it being
and
frustrating.
as a part of that, combat games that, and this is extended to war games as well, but games that don't give like a structure on how to lay out a combat battle map, um, so that people running the game have like an idea of like how to make something good. Uh, uh, which is another thing I've done in Euphoria of like you kind of build the battleground when you're doing a factory.
Yeah.
And so there's a structure, and you can very easily break away from that structure to like if you have a cool idea. Like if there's no fucking gun pointed at you saying you have to follow it, but it's there so that if you're not sure how to design like this encounter, that you can make like something that's like pretty all right.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I totally hear you on that. I think it's important.
that is a very specific pet peeve for me because I have played too many games that are focused on combat that are just line of sight, and just line of sight is so boring or just not useful because it's like
There's no tactics then. It's just
there's no tactics, and there's also like Cyberpunk Red, for example. doesn't really give rules on how to set up a battle map.
Yeah.
Uh, and so most of the time playing it, I kind of had to make stuff up.
Right.
And I'm not the biggest fan of making stuff up.
Yeah, that's fair.
What about you, Eclipse?
Uh, you gave me so much time, and I still don't want to say what I'm about to say because I don't want to be I don't want to be mean. So like I have noticed a trend in recent queer TTRPGs, uh, wherein the bad guys are like the heterotopians or whatever, and I'm not going to say which games they are because I don't want to be mean. However, I just don't have any interest in that. So I don't have any interest in those as stakes. I think that those are kind of boring stakes, and I hope that if you're making a game that has queer themes, you think about more interesting ways the characters could be queer in a queer world, or exist in a queer
Listen,
world than that.
make a mechanic that makes all of the characters queer.
Yeah, or just like make your conflicts more complicated than like there is a society that wants to make everyone straight. Like I get that. I don't know. I get that that's like a concern for people because it is real. Like that there is a that
I
is yeah.
think my, because like I agree with you there. My thing is it's just easier to make either a more direct analog to what you're saying or just to have the thing that you're saying. Because it's like, when those are the conflicts, it's very clearly about like being like anti-assimilationist, right?
Yeah.
Where there is a group of queer people who do not wish to assimilate with like greater cis heteronormative society. Um, and it's just kind of, first of all, making it a polarized. It's heterosexual people who are like making queer people conform
Yeah.
is first of all not the way, because that just kind of shits on queer hetero
It's
people.
like almost ethnicity. Like it's so weird.
Yeah.
It has no bearing on
But
reality.
also like it's so much
Or no actual
easier to
reality.
be like, here is the villain. Like you, to take another example from Euphoria. The main antagonist of Euphoria is the mega corporation that owns the planet called Angel Corp. Angel Corp is very obviously based on American evangelical rich assholes. Um, who, very poignantly, their goal is to, trigger the rapture. Whoa. Um, and like that's like a step away from like the hetero planet or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's good because there's like actual like ideology and like
yeah,
conflict and like there are
it,
intricacies to it,
yeah. There's like more details than just I don't like hetero people.
Yeah. I also just find some of the naming conventions really exhausting. And I can't I gotta I gotta be so nice, but also like I don't know. If you've read these games, you know what I'm talking about. That's all I'll say. Uh I really I would prefer more games that are trying to explore queer themes, explore them from a perspective that's not necessarily just about uh the like base level liberal politics of queerness and are more about weird shit. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
weird shit.
the obvious example from like stuff that I've done is like, I mean, Sapphic World is just like, uh, you know, it's a bunch of queer people fucking each other up. Like it's queer on
Uh,
queer violence, which we love. Um, it's toxic Yuri. We need more toxic Yuri. We need
we
bring out the toxic
need
Yuri.
everyone bring out the toxic Yuri.
I don't want the bad guys to be. I don't want the bad guys to be straight girls. I want the bad guys to be other lesbians.
Yeah, exactly.
When you create world lore for your games, does that lore affect how you design mechanics or vice versa? Ooh, that's also a good question. Thank you for all these questions, Max. I very much appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. You're wonderful,
Um,
Max.
yeah, I want to go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So with Euphoria specifically and in general, um I try to only have the relevant lore.
Hmm.
So using Euphoria, right? The lore you're given is that Angel Corp owns the planet Gaia that the game takes place on. They have excavated the entire planet from its resources, and all that is left is this giant waste of oxidized copper in this red ocean. On either side of this island are these two massive spire cities, and the entire game takes place in like the wilderness area in between those two spaces. So,
Yeah,
and you don't really need more specific lore. Like, there's of course tidbits that are like little things that you can like grab onto and explore. Uh, like, I think in the current playtest, two of the players are canonically Martian. Uh, and served in this Martian military branch. And are dealing with that trauma. Um, or the little tidbit that Earth no longer exists in the Euphoria setting. So it's
yeah,
like, well, what happened there? And it's like, well, you figure it out. Because I think that makes it very easy for like the setting to be consumed and for the themes of the game to be very concise. Um, because I'm not worrying about like the fluff of the setting
right.
during development. And also um it gives space for people playing the game to impact the setting. Because like with the exception of a handful of NPCs who are in the game, the whole thing about the Martian military doing like war crimes against civilians isn't like a canon thing, you
Yeah, it's
know?
just like it's kind of developed canon or
Yeah, a
developed lore.
developed canon, a developed lore.
Yeah. Um.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and also it just like really keeps me on track on what's in or not in the setting if I directly tie lore to mechanics. Um, and yeah, so like the food and money in the setting is listed as CC or cyclic commerce, and they're like little snacks.
Yeah. Treats
Um,
even.
little treats that like give you the nutrients and food you need for a whole day.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to have a separate eating and drinking and money mechanic
Right.
for the game.
I think it's
So
really
I
smart.
just said they're all one. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I what I do is I'll start writing a game and I'll be like, all right, this is gonna be my simple fun game. This happened with Sap World. I'm like, this is gonna be my simple fun game. I'm gonna make this is gonna be really short. I'm gonna write this in like a week, and I'm gonna put it out, and everyone's gonna love it. Uh, and I write the mechanics, and then I'm sitting I'm sitting down in my chair, and I'm like, okay, I need to write an introduction for this. Let's just start like thinking of ideas, like thinking of like text, and then I break my heart, and then and then I start writing lore. That's basically what happens, and then usually the lore and the setting, like these days, I try to make the mechanics and lore kind of intertwine because I think that's a really unexplored space in TTRPGs.
Yeah.
It's not unexplored, but I think that there's
Underutilized.
underutilized. I think that there's more space to play with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
Um, and the fun thing with Euphoria is that does mean the setting of the game is fundamentally different between normal mode and hardcore mode.
Right.
Um, oh yeah, I also, if I am just having a very specific hyperfixation, like I did create most of a taxonic tree for all the creatures in the Euphoria game, like all
Yeah.
the animals.
Crowley said one thing to me about Sapphic World about the communist state that I didn't realize was implied, which is that so I had always assumed that my writing made it clear that the communist state was just the folks who lived on the eastern side of the setting of the actual like of Sapphic World of Yesod. But Crowley had assumed that there was a broader uh, society that was beyond the mist, and that idea has ruined my brain. And I've written like a bunch of new characters who are from, well, not a bunch, but like I've written a new character and a new commune that are tied to that because I just think it's really fun. So the answer is like it's a mishmash. Stuff flows in and out,
Yeah.
and it's a mess.
And also, I do think it's very important when talking about lore and mechanics that the setting of a game is almost always intrinsically linked to the mechanics.
Yeah,
Like, and I think this is true for both Euphoria and Sapphic World, is Sapphic World would be a fundamentally different game if like any of the mechanics were like heavily changed.
yeah, I agree. Oh, we got another question from Max.
Yippee!
Are there genres in TTRPGs or other media that you tend to gravitate toward or enjoy exploring / writing with? Go ahead.
So I mentioned this earlier, but I think that was before Max you joined, you began watching, but I really enjoy games that are systematic and honestly, yeah, a little bit simulationist. Um, and I take a lot of those ideas of that. So, Dwarf Fortress, um, uh, Caves of Cud, of course, uh, fucking Minecraft, those kind of exploration games, uh, that are all about interacting with systems and just made a TTRPG about that. I really should stop putting Caves of Cud in this category because Caves of Cud, I didn't know about Caves of Cud until like a few months ago.
It's a great game though.
It's a really good game. If you have, was it like the $20 to buy it, you should.
Yeah.
Um, but I also enjoy survival games. Um, if you can't tell by the fact that the two games I'm primarily working on are both like heavily based around surviving uh
Yeah.
various ailments.
My ailments.
My ailments.
Oh, my worms of my body. Oh.
I also really enjoy taking concepts and ideas from board games and war games in general. Um, oh, hi, Vito. Vita, if you have
Yeah.
questions, ask.
Yeah, ask or send an email. Up to
Yeah.
you.
What was I saying? Um, fuck. Survival games. Oh, I completely lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
Would you like to go while I think some more?
Sure. I was thinking more of like setting genres. Like I really like fantasy and
Oh,
sci-fi,
setting genres.
sci fantasy. Like I
Sci
like
fantasy is my favorite.
I love a patchwork setting where anything can happen. I love just like a bit of a mess. I love a world where you can have a knight and a spaceship captain side by side. I just think it's fun. I smile
Yeah.
for it.
No, I think yeah. No, that's good. I'm also a big fan of sci fantasy. Um, mecha,
Yeah.
which is a very recent thing. Thanks to
Beautiful
uh,
transgender girlfriend.
my beautiful
Wife.
transgender wife,
Yeah.
Six. Um,
I will say I
uh,
probably have enough in me for like one more question. I'm very sick, unfortunately. So
yes. One
not
more
very sick, but a little
question.
sick.
Um, yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah. If anyone has any last question, uh, otherwise we'll wrap. Give folks a little time to get questions out.
Yeah.
And I'll check the email too. Wahoo!
Checking the email.
I'll give like 3 minutes until then we can just shoot the shit. Um.
Yeah.
Do you have any interest in talking about the No, you're good, Max. I really appreciate you asking all those questions.
Yes. Thank you, Max.
Do you have any interest in talking about the substance that you partook in during this?
Oh, weed?
Yeah, you want to talk about weed?
Yeah, I can talk about weed.
Talk about the weed that you smoked.
Um, so I was smoking a is this Delta 8? Yeah, a Delta 8 strain called Galactica OG.
Hmm.
Um uh I only smoked a little bit at the beginning, which is why it was a little bit like that. It was a good body high. I enjoyed it. It definitely turned my brain off. It's definitely some bimbification weed.
You got that bimbo weed.
That bimbo weed.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
do you have thoughts on weed, Eclipse?
I haven't done it. I haven't taken it, so
Oh, how could I
I have no
forget?
opinions. Yeah. I think it would help me. I think it would fix me.
Yeah,
Um,
probably.
I think we should wrap up here. I think that this is a good
Yeah.
time to wrap up and raid someone. We are going to raid. I think I have enough people here that I can raid a bit above my weight class.
Oh, one last question
Oh,
from Max. Last question. Did you both design your VTubers? They look very cool.
so I designed. I made the design for mine. The art and rigging are from. Hang on, let me get the name. It's in the credits. But it is Adri Villa, Meccano on Twitter. Um, and I made the design for Lilith's. It is Lucifer from Sapphic World. Um, so that is the
Agreed.
version of that. Yeah,
And I think
but
my
green.
thing is just like a simple little like PNG tuber thing.
Yeah, it's a two frame. It's a PNG tuber.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I do a
a
little hop.
it's green
Hop.
Lucifer. We are going to raid Andu, who is playing Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion. I assume in preparation for Lunacid, which is coming soon, or maybe just for fun. But
You have a heart
yeah.
of gold. Don't let them
Hey,
take it
Max,
from
thank you for the follow.
Yeah.
We never do we want to do bimbo weed as a raid phrase?
Yeah, Bimbleweed.
Okay.
Wait, raid phrase. It's a good one.
Please say this when you drop into Andy's chat. And
Yeah.
I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm going to be playing Lunacid with Crowley with I Feel Odd, the person who made We Live Forever with me.
Wait,
And
you
a good
feel
friend of me
odd?
and Lilith. I do, I feel so odd. Alright.
Oh no.
Good night, everyone.
And I...
Remember, if you don't like what you see, you can change it. It's up to you, really. Goodbye, good luck, and have fun!